What is up, everybody? We are back on the Lasagna Show post game. What can you say? Another tough loss, another close one to the Orioles. Definitely disappointing. Um, Plenty of opportunities to win that game. Obviously, it is it's tough when your starting pitcher puts you behind the eight ball like that. Offense is already in a huge deficit, and he continues to give up runs. It's tough to come back from that, especially on the road, especially in a hostile environment. Just not ideal. But as always, we got to start with the pitching, and I think it's time to have a heart to heart with Cookie Carrasco. Um, there comes a time in every baseball player's life when maybe it's time to hang it up, and he doesn't got to hang it up for good. But man, if he hangs it up from the Yankees, I don't think any of us would be mad. Um, put the fries in the bag, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. He's better than that, but tough, man. He got knocked around a little bit. 3 1/3 innings pitch, he gave up 8 hits. I mean, you're just not going to have a lot of success when you're doing that. 4 earned runs. He did have 5 strikeouts. Some of those lefties, he was getting that changeup down in the zone, kind of fading down and away from those guys. So that was an effective pitch from him. In spurts. But overall, I mean, give up 2 homers. His ERA is up to 5.90 on the season. Um, it's tough every 2 out of 3 starting pitchers in your rotation are a Will Warren and a Cookie Carrasco who are not giving you length, who are giving up runs, giving up a ton of hits, not giving the team a chance, to go, for them to go at least 4 or 5 innings. And give up 3 runs or less and give the offense a chance and give yourself a chance to compete in a ball game and win. So definitely not what you want to see there. I think it was Yankee fan Earl on Twitter, if some of you guys are familiar with him. He mentioned that not only is Warren and Carrasco being in the rotation, not ideal, but they're back to back. They're staggered in the rotation. So you have 2 guys back to back who are not giving you length, who are giving up runs, who are giving up a ton of hits. And that's not only a good look for those guys, it's not good for the team in general, but you're burning the bullpen in back to back days. You're taxing them big time, especially Yarbrough, who's your bridge the gap kind of guy. You're going to have Yarbrough out there eating 3-4 innings in the middle of the game, trying to make up for the failed attempt from the starting pitcher. So you can't use Yarbrough in both days. So it's a tough situation for sure. This time it was Rodon yesterday and then Cookie in between, which worked out really well. But when you get that Warren and Carrasco back to back, that's not ideal. Definitely not what you want to see. And can you believe that we had Marcus Stroman and Warren and Carrasco all in the same rotation? I mean, that is brutal. I know there's not a ton of options on this team to step in for those guys, but is Clayton Beeter getting close? Is there anyone you can call around the league? Maybe there's a starting pitcher on the market, before July. It's tough because, before everyone's like, oh, wait till the trade deadline, wait till the deadline, wait till the deadline. We don't know if Cashman's willing to part with the prospects to acquire a decent pitcher at the deadline. One, we don't know who will be available by the deadline. And if this continues, the bullpen is going to be extremely taxed by the deadline. So, in theory, waiting for the deadline and thinking some magical savior starting pitcher is going to come in and save your rotation is fine. But where do you go to get that? What does it cost? How quickly can you do it? Do you got to wait till July? Will the bullpen still be good by then? It's a tough situation to be in. Not ideal. See Bernard saying we need another pitcher. We absolutely do. Try any rookie. I mean, I'm open to it. I'm absolutely open to it. I see Jones saying Beater is going to be a bullpen guy. That's tough, man. I know he could start. I don't know how. I haven't been paying attention to his rehab. I don't know how how close he is to being stretched out. Getting built back up as a starter bullpen guy. Is he going to go 3 innings? Is he going to try to go 5 or 6? But I mean, if he's still in the minors, he's still rehabbing. Can you give him a few extra weeks and try to stretch him out? I mean, at this point, Cookie's not getting it done. Warren's struggling. Clark is working his way back, so there's a lot of lot of difficult situations in this rotation. So losing Hill and Cole, we expected it to take a toll in this rotation and to take a toll in the bullpen by having some subpar starting pitching, throwing often, and it's happening right before our eyes. The Yankees are 18 and 13 now, 5 games over 500, and they did Baltimore a favor. This is an early season opportunity to bury the Orioles even more than they already were in last place. The Warriors were struggling. Obviously, it was well documented. Struggling on all ends of the field, pitching, offense, all those kind of things. And Yankees coming to town, they lose 2 out of 3, and all of a sudden Baltimore's feeling a little bit better about themselves. And maybe the Yankees were feeling good, playing well. Maybe we have to temper our expectations a little bit, because as long as this rotation continues to pitch the way they're pitching with Carrasco and Warren in there down the stretch. I mean, it's just been April. As time goes on, maybe they wear down, maybe they figure it out, maybe they don't. You got some question marks in there that makes it hard to sustain winning streaks, to put together 2 or 3 great weeks of baseball, and really separate yourself from the rest of that division. So definitely tough. Let's go on to some more of those pitchers there. We got Tim Hill, 1 earned run, 1 inning, not too bad. He did walk 2 guys. It's not what you want to see from him. He's got to come and attack the zone. I know his stuff isn't great, but he's got that kind of funky sidearm delivery, and it's pretty effective against righties and lefties. So you don't want to see him walking guys. Get in there, throw strikes, and attack. So definitely a little disappointed there. Fernando Cruz, holy shit. If we're talking about the Matt Blake effect happening again right in front of our eyes with a relief pitcher, he's been unbelievable. I think you saw some of the stats up there. He's had 30-something strikeouts, and I think 22 of them came on the splitter or something crazy like that, or maybe I'm a little bit off there. 30-something at-bats. He's got 27 Ks, so it's probably at-bats, and I think 20-something of them were strikeouts by way of splitter. He's been great. His numbers previously on other teams didn't look great. I believe he was on the Reds. But, you look at the fastball's not great, 92, 93-ish. And it always makes me laugh when some of these guys come in grunting, throwing 92, 93. I mean, they're out there putting every ounce of strength out there into that pitch as they can, and they're, touching low 90s. I can't touch low 90s, so I'm not talking shit over here. I just think it's kind of funny. But that splitter is just something else. His ERA is down to 1.62, 16 2/3 innings pitched, and he has 27 Ks. The whip is down to 0.84, which is phenomenal. And a splitter is one of those crazy pitches where, it's tough to hit. It could just kind of disappears when you're up there at the plate. It's the same arm action as a fastball. It comes out of the hand kind of looking like a heater, and sometimes it'll dance on you like a knuckleball. Sometimes it'll drop. It's just kind of unpredictable. I had a really good friend in high school. He threw a great splitter. He was on track to get drafted if he didn't mess up his back, which was unfortunate. But this guy would grab the ball, got a nifty little baseball here. He would split his fingers right across the seams like that, and he would just pull down. And he had crazy flexible fingers, and they would just wrap around the ball, and he would go into his normal throwing motion, pull that thing straight down, and sometimes it would go side to side. Sometimes it would hump up a little bit and then sink. It was so hard to catch. I can't imagine trying to hit it. And that's a kid in high school. So what the hell is Fernando Cruz's splitter looking like? It's unbelievable. Low to, I think it's in the, into the 80s, low to mid 80s, something like that. But man, looking at the swings that these guys are taking off that split is a testament to how good that thing is. And I say more splitters, Mr. Cruz, and I post the picture on Twitter of that little kid with a bowl begging for it. Keep throwing that damn thing, man. Throw it until it stops working. It looks fantastic. Do not change a thing. NYY Matt in there says the post-game show we need. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that a ton. For those of you who are watching on YouTube and Twitter, please find the YouTube channel, The Lasagna Show. Like this video, like the other videos in there, and subscribe to this channel. We're going to do mostly post games Monday through Thursday. Occasionally there might be a Friday show. Occasionally there might be a guest show, like a series recap kind of thing. So this week we have a recap show coming up tomorrow with my buddy Nothing Is That Serious in the chat. There he is with the SpongeBob. icon, really smart guy. He's going to be in there, breaking down some of what we've seen through this Orioles series tomorrow, and then we'll pick back up on Monday with more post games. But please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and find the channel if you're watching on Twitter and subscribe. That would be amazing. Back to the pitching, Devin Williams. We got another scoreless inning from Devin Williams. No hits, no runs. I know he did walk a batter in there, had a strikeout, but he looks more comfortable. He looks more poised. I know he's still working on things, but that changeup today looked fantastic. The velo on the fastball still, low 90s, 93-ish. That's going to pick up as the season goes on. It's still April. Guys are still, building up a little bit. He hasn't had a ton of work out there in live game situations, so we expect as he pitches more, the velocity will come, get kind of more conditioned. So another good outing for him. It's good to see. I hope they keep him in that role for a while. I don't want to see him have maybe 3 more good outings in that sub spot, and then they try to put him back in the closer role. Leave him there, I don't know, for a month, couple months, and let him sustain some success, build that confidence really well, get the velo back on the heater, find that control with the changeup, and get back to the Devin Williams that we know he can be. And then maybe, down the line, they can try him back in the closer's role. But what's going to be really tricky is if Weaver starts closing. I don't think we've seen him yet since the demotion from Devin Williams, but if Weaver comes in and starts closing and doing really well, I don't want to see him pulled from that closer position to put Williams back in and fuck things up there. If Williams is doing what he was doing last season and he's having success as the closer, he's doing his thing, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Let Devin Williams be comfortable as the setup man. Let Weaver be comfortable as the closer. If both things are working at the same time, leave it alone. Not going to change it. No point to change it just to, anoint Williams back to the closer role just because it makes him feel good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So good sign early since the demotion for Devin Williams. Love to see him in there pitching well in the setup role. Hopefully it continues. Sarah, great to have you in here. She said, great show. Keep killing it. I appreciate you a ton. My guy Eddie is in there. Tina's in here. So we got the whole gang in here. Love having you guys. Definitely is a privilege to have, you guys checking in, listening to the show. I absolutely love it. So thank you guys. One more pitcher, Mark Leiter Jr. Holy shit, he was throwing 95 tonight. When I woke up this morning, I did not expect to see a Mark Leiter Jr. sighting on my television with him throwing 95 miles an hour. Didn't expect it. So, I mean, if he can continue to throw a little bit higher velocity, he also has a really good splitter, just like Cruz. So you got a couple really good splitty guys. I know if Leiter keeps throwing 95, that'll be more velocity on his fastball than Cruz. So, hey, man, if he's going to keep that up, I definitely love to see it. Leiter Jr.'s ERA down to 2.70, really, really nice. He's only thrown 13 innings, but he has 20 strikeouts, and his WHIP is just above 1. I mean, he's been really good. You got to love that. So as Hamilton gets back in the swing of things, as Loaizaga comes in and finds his groove when he comes back, you're going to have a Cruz, you're going to have a Weaver, a Williams, a Loaizaga, a Leiter. You're going to have a pretty good, Tim Hill. You're going to have a solid group of pitchers there in the bullpen. That you can kind of put in any situation. So definitely very exciting to see that from the bullpen. Getting to the offense. So we have Aaron Judge with 3 more hits. I mean, I know it's not good for us to get jaded because we're watching, greatness we might not ever see again. But this dude, 3 more hits and 3 RBIs. He hit a home run, his 10th of the season. The power is starting to show up for him after he hit a bunch of singles. But as we were talking about on the show, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Aaron Judge in all the interviews after the game, he's like, oh, I feel decent, but I'm not where I need to be yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. And I think we saw some of that with him missing some really good pitches and not hitting for power and hitting a bunch of singles. But it's great when you're not feeling 100%, you're not feeling like yourself, and you're hitting singles. He's hitting over 400 right now, which is ridiculous. 427 batting average through the first month and change, including some of the games in March. So the guy is just an absolute tear. Cherish every moment that we watch this guy throughout the regular season. I know he's approaching his mid-30s. We might get 5 to 7 more years of this or less. I mean, the prime, it doesn't last forever. So appreciate what you're seeing from Aaron Judge every day. He's only getting better. I expect, a handful of more MVP trophies from him. We just got to see the October production from Aaron Judge. Got to see it. I'm waiting for it. But in the meantime, we will continue to enjoy what he's doing in the regular season. Bernard says, people don't forget to like. Absolutely. Like the video, like the channel, subscribe to the channel. Please interact, leave comments. Absolutely love the engagement. We want to make this a more interactive show than it is right now, obviously. We are working on that behind the scenes. I'm trying to look into a couple different ways to, get some of you guys on as guests, maybe once a week or twice a week, possibly phone calls in the future. So we're working on getting this even more interactive and more enjoyable for you guys who are watching, which is what I want out of it. I love to interact with you guys, especially my people on Twitter. I appreciate you guys finding the YouTube channel and subscribing to it. I absolutely appreciate it. I love interacting with you guys on a daily basis. I know there's a lot of weirdos out there on Twitter, but there's also a lot of really, really good people. I've met a lot of them in person, and I interact with a lot of you on a daily basis through Twitter. So absolutely enjoy it every day, and you guys really make the season a good time. Josh says, "My go, Johnny, with a great post game." Thank you so much, man. Thank you for watching. Nothing is that serious. So leave some questions for tomorrow. We will answer some. Absolutely. Throw some comments in there, throw some questions, and we will get to them tomorrow. It'll be a fun conversation tomorrow. I see Pee Wee Gaskin says, "Stop hating on DJ." I know Bernard likes to see that one. The guy's got a couple batting titles. I get it. He's been a good player in the past, but unfortunately, we live in the present. And he's not much of a player anymore that can contribute on a day-to-day basis for this team. I don't see a place for him to play consistently. I don't see him not hitting into a bunch of double plays. I don't see him getting more athletic. I don't see him getting any younger. I don't see him getting any less injury prone. So tough. They're paying him a bunch of money. They're going to try to squeeze him in there somewhere. If he can contribute just a little bit, I'll take it. But do I expect it? Absolutely not. But what I do expect, as you saw in the video I posted earlier today, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, Paul Goldfish and his Titanic Popeye forearms hit another home run today. And it was a beautiful thing to see. According to the book of Mark McGwire, big forearms equals big home runs, and Paul Goldfish delivered today, which was great to see. Crush at the left center. Very exciting. That's only his second of the season, so obviously we expect him to hit more as the season goes on, as the temperature warms up, such and such. It's going to be good for him to continue to get more bats. He's already killing lefties, so we just need him to, maybe kill the righties, not equally as he kills the lefties, but it'll be nice to see if him hit the righties, hit the lefties, somewhat equal, and put together a fantastic season for the possible 1 year we might have him. So very nice. Oh, he changed his name back to Jordan. Okay, Jordan in the chat. Good guy right there. Interact with him more. Go follow him on Twitter. He's a good dude. Trent Grisham had one knock today, a couple strikeouts. Not great. Ben Rice, man, that ball he hit towards the end of the game, I think Michael K thought it was gone. I thought it was gone, or at least off the wall. It looked like he squirted up really nice. Unfortunately, hung up and was caught. It's a game of inches. Maybe if he squares it up a couple more inches on the barrel, towards the barrel, it's, absolutely crushed under the street back there in right field. So definitely unfortunate there. Volpe had a few good at bats. He had a base knock. He hit a couple balls hard. So it's good to see him continue to progress during this, I guess it's been about a week that he's been hitting pretty well. So very encouraging from him. Austin Wells had a knock today. We got Reyes in there. What purpose does Reyes serve on this team? I can't figure it out. Is he just depth? I know he's played some right field. I know he played some infield, played second base today. He was kind of the reason for the bench clearing issue we had earlier. Jumped to grab the ball on the stolen base. Landed on Kjerstad. Kjerstad was not thrilled with Reyes catching the ball and landing his crotch on top of his head. So, I can kind of see where Kjerstad's going there with, get your crotch off my head. But, what do you expect Reyes to do? He caught the ball where it was. He jumped in the air. He just happened to come down on Kjerstad. It is what it is. It's baseball. Sometimes it gets physical. Stop crying. He looked like, he looked like the rest of the 3D printed cookie cutter looking guys they have on the Orioles with the blonde hair, like Holiday, like all those other guys. So it was pretty funny. Bellinger comes in for the pinch hitting appearance, facing the dude throwing 97 plus. It's really hard to come off the bench when you haven't been hitting all game and see that kind of stuff that late in the game in a tough situation. So, you can't really be too mad there. Dominguez gave him a start today against a lefty. He did hit a couple balls hard, which is nice to see. Unfortunately, in the books, it shows as a 0 under hits, but he did have some better at bats. It was somewhat encouraging to see that. But he's got to face more lefties consistently to get better at hitting them. Just how it is. You got to play baseball to be good at baseball. You got to see pitches to hit pitches. You got to hit baseballs to be good at hitting baseballs. So he's got to be in there consistently. I want to see him playing defense. I want to see him starting, 5 or 6 days out of the week. He's getting a lot of days off here. I know it's tough with Bellinger needing to play and Grisham hitting well and Judge and all this kind of stuff, but got to find the bats for Dominguez, man. Got to get him in there. Got to get him facing lefties because he's part of the future. He's only 22 years old. He's part of a big group of guys here that we're trying to see progress, young guys that we're trying to see take the next step in the major league level, learn how to play a full season at the major league level, learn how to be a consistent offensive producer at the major league level for over the course of a full season. Obviously, there's going to be months where you have slumps. There's going to be, some months are better than other months. But if you can put together the majority of your season productively as an offensive player and contribute defensively, that's something that these guys are trying to learn right now. So there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be some rough base running. There's going to be some ugly slumps. There's going to be some really ugly at bats when some of these guys are, learning how to hit the major league level. Coming from the minors. In the minors, you're going to see a bunch of young guys, control issues. Maybe some got great stuff, some don't. In the major leagues, you're consistently seeing really good pitching, especially today, more than ever. You're seeing great fastballs, splitters, two seams, sinkers, changeups, big curveballs, sliders, all kinds of crazy stuff on a consistent basis with very sharp scouting reports and analytics that know exactly how to get you out, know every hole in your swing. So these are things that young hitters are going through on a day-to-day basis, and they're going to try to figure things out on the fly, adjust back to the league as the league adjusts to them. And that's just part of it. Dominguez had a rough at bat, late there, hitting left-handed. It was not a good situation for him. You hope he hits better from the left side when he comes in late there in a big moment, but didn't get it done, which is unfortunate. I mean, hopefully he gets him next time. Juju Bernie 6 says, just describe Will Warren, elite stuff with shitty command. Absolutely right. The heater anywhere from 93 to 96. That changeup is fantastic. He's got a good breaking ball. He just is all over the place, very erratic. At the major league level, you can't miss middle because it will get hit. These guys are very, very talented hitters in the major league level. So Will Warren's kind of finding that out, and he's going to have to learn through that as well. Dominguez looks mentally ill about 3 at-bats. Gonna leave that one alone. Lou says, I feel like they guess a lot at the plate. It's true. I mean, in the major leagues, you got different kind of hitters. You got guys that have very good eyesight that can read spin. You have some guys who are reading arm angle. You have some guys who are looking just on one location the whole at bat and won't swing at anything else. And then you got guys that guess. They they watch the film, they understand the counts. They try to guess what pitch is coming in certain counts based on how they've been pitched before, based on scouting reports, all those different things. So there could be a lot of guys guessing up there. Sometimes Stanton looks like a guy that guesses, and he waves at some crazy pitches. Maybe he was expecting something else, but there's different kind of hitters in the big leagues. I mean, it's kind of tough. Maybe some of those guys are guessing. Jordan says can't use his wheels if he doesn't get on base. That's very true, especially for Volpe. I know the on-base percentage the last couple of years has not been ideal. These guys got wheels. Peraza can run. Dominguez can run. Volpe can run. Oswaldo's pretty athletic as well. So you want to use that speed more on the bases. You want to create opportunities, runners in scoring position if you're good hitters. But you can't do that unless you get on base. So you got to get on base first. Bench Talk says Peraza uncompetitive at bats. There was a few balls he hit today that were pretty decent. I think he smoked one down at third base. I think Urias made a good play. He hit a ball dead center that carried pretty decent. I thought he wasn't too bad today. He's been worse before. Bench Talk also says I just feel like when I watch games 7 through 9 is an out. I don't know, man. I mean, it's a legit gripe. You got Peraza down there with a 603 OPS. Dominguez down there 687. Reyes has a 466 OPS. So definitely today, a lot of zeros for out of these guys. Peraza didn't have a hit. Dominguez didn't have a hit. Reyes didn't have a hit. Bellinger pinch hit. Oswaldo pinch hit. They didn't have hits either. So bottom of the lineup, not ideal today. You need that bottom of the order to flip things for the top of the order. You need at least a couple guys on base. So when Goldschmidt, Grisham, and Judge and Rice are up there, the guys moving around, guys stealing, guys who can go first to third, guys who can score from second. So definitely not ideal to have a bottom of the order that can't flip the lineup. So definitely, hopefully, some of those guys down there can start hitting to counteract some of that. But overall, just tough loss today. Like I said earlier, Orioles last place. Orioles were struggling. You got to go in there. Yankees were playing well. You got to go in there, take 2 out of 3 or sweep. And they ended up dropping 2 out of 3, which was very unfortunate. Carlos Rodon looked fantastic yesterday, but a couple of 1-run losses to a team that you should beat at this point of the season, not ideal. So definitely disappointing. I mean, the Orioles treated today like a must-win. I mean, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitchers in there today. They used all their big guns. They used Bautista. They used Gregory Soto throwing gas from the left side. They used Cano. They used Aiken. Povich wasn't bad. We know the Yankees struggle against lefties. They did get to him for 3 earned runs, and he did walk 3. There were a couple dingers in there. So, if Carrasco doesn't shit his pants early, maybe the Yankees are in a different spot. They're middle of the game and playing with a lead, playing to save and preserve a lead rather than come from behind. But Bench Talk says, can't have Warren and Carrasco out there and expect a winning streak. Absolutely right. Jimmy says, this is what happens when they did nothing after the Cole news. Bumps starting every 5th day. You're not wrong there, man. I mean, at one point we had Stroman, Warren, and Carrasco in there pitching pretty consistently. Stroman with this phantom IL. The guy was maybe tweaked his knee a little bit. Come on. He needed to get out of there when Clark came back. So that was good that they kind of cleared some space. Clark is still working on some things too. I don't feel like he's fully built back up. I know we have Luis Hill coming, but the tough thing with that is we don't know if he'll have any setbacks. We don't know how he's going to look when he does get back. Is he going to be throwing 98 plus like he was before with the working the changeup in there, the slider? We don't know what type of Luis Hill we're going to get. So it's hard to count on him. There might be a couple weeks there when he gets back where he struggles a little bit. So he's not going to be the end all be all save everybody type of situation. Obviously, it's going to be great when we do get him back because we know how good his stuff is and how good he can be when he's feeling right. But first couple of weeks when he gets back might be a little rocky. I expect him hopefully in June, maybe July for Hill. So that'd be nice to get him. Bernard says we did not get an arm, needed an arm. Very true. And we know that this organization is very reluctant to move some of their better prospects to go out and get an arm. I think Dominguez, Volpe, Ben Rice. I mean, a lot of these guys that they're running out there, Wells, I don't think any of those guys are going to be out there involved in any type of trade talks. Some of the guys in the minors, I don't believe, what's his face? They're really good. I forgot his name, whatever. The really good infielder. Lombard, there you go. Sorry, brain fart moment. I don't think Lombard will get moved. I don't think Arias will get moved. Jones is probably not going to get moved. I know he's thought very. There you go. Thank you, Juju Bernie. 6. I was thinking of Lombard. Couldn't think of his damn name. Kind of looks like George Springer, doesn't he? But yeah, he's a good player. I don't think they move any of those guys. So if you're not going to move any of those guys, it's going to be hard to go out and get top shelf starting pitching. Because if I'm another team and I got something you want, if I have an Alcantara, who's been getting absolutely shelled lately, but that name has been swirling a little bit. If I have Alcantara and the Yankees call me for Alcantara, I'm asking for Dominguez maybe. I'm asking for Austin Wells. I'm asking for Ben Rice. I want some of these guys. Maybe they do deal Will Warren. I know the stuff plays. I know he's still working on some things. So some teams could see his profile in terms of what his stuff grades out at and think, hey, there's a guy we can get in here, get in our program, get him to figure some things out. So maybe a Warren trade. Lou says definitely don't want to involve Lombard in any deal. I agree. I think that guy is box office. He's fantastic. Bernard says Alcantara has an 8 ERA. No thanks. I mean, a lot of people hypothetically say, hey, if the Yankees face the Dodgers in the World Series again, they need to go get another starter. And some people were saying, hey, how about Sandy Alcantara? He pitched against the Dodgers yesterday and got absolutely smoked. The ERA is pushing 8. I know he's coming back from TJ. I know he's still working on some things, but definitely not ideal there. Monstage J says they definitely are too reluctant to move prospects and hold on to prospects way too much. And Duhar, biggest blunder. Yeah, Duhar. Back in the day, I think it was Eduardo Nunez was a guy they weren't going to move. I know that we all love Phil Hughes for the 2009 bullpen kind of situation that he came into, but they would never move Phil Hughes, and there was like Cliff Lee, talk and all kinds of different trade scenarios going on there. So Yankees have kind of always been that team. They want to hold on to their guys. We saw how many guys that they passed on to give Volpe the opportunity. Pitchers, infielders. They didn't sign Seager. They didn't, trade for a Luis Castillo, which in hindsight looks like it could be better. But you never know what a Luis Castillo type would look like under Matt Blake. Good changeup, good slider, running 98-mile-an-hour two-seam fastball. So, I mean, there'd be a lot to work with there. And he can keep his hair and the little goatee that he has. The rules have changed. You don't got to worry about Luis Castillo getting pissed off if he came to the Yankees. He can keep it. So, definitely unfortunate that they didn't make some of those deals in past. But I don't expect any crazy deals this deadline. I really don't. I guess you could say the system was a little bit thin after the Juan Soto deal. I know Chase Hampton got hurt. And a lot of these top guys that are in the system right now, and the guys that are contributing at the major league level right now, they don't want to move them, and they're reluctant to do it. I can't say I blame them, because I do think there is something, there's something to look forward to with a lot of some of these young guys. I know a lot of people are out on Spencer Jones. The K rate is still concerning, but I think he's leading the Eastern League in home runs down there in OPS. So the power is definitely there. I do think he will hit mistakes. But he opened up his stance. He was messing with his stride in the offseason, trying to get more of an Aaron Judge type stride. I know they're comparable in terms of height, so it's just kind of tough. We don't really know what Spencer Jones is going to become. We know he's got great power and he's athletic, but we need to see that K rate come down in the minors, and he's still got another level to go. He's still got to go to AAA. Proof he can hit AA, which he's doing right now. Hopefully do that for several months, go to AAA, see if he could do it there, and then consider him next year. So I think he's getting close. The Yankees don't want to move him unless it's for some game-changing, difference-making player out there, but I can't think of any really that would be open, that would be, available come July. And what's crazy with the extended wild card is you have more teams that are in it now this season, later than ever, into the season. So there's a lot of people out there that are going to be knocking on doors, banging the phones, trying to find out who's available, who's not. So you have more people out there bidding for the same players that are available. And the Yankees, as reluctant as they are to move prospects, it's hard to see them, outbidding other teams for the same guys when they're not willing to move with some of their better guys. So my expectations going forward are going to be tempered at the deadline, which is unfortunate, because I think last year, especially when there were it was a potential 1 year with Soto situation. You needed a few different guys, 3 different pieces, needed a starting pitcher, needed a Michael Kopech type. There was guys out there to be had, Tommy Edman, and they all go to the Dodgers, and we saw what happened there. So definitely a tough situation, but we'll see if Cashman changes things up this trade deadline. I don't expect it, but fingers crossed. That's why we let things play out the way they do. Monstage JD says stinks they're wasting Judge. I'm assuming you mean his prime. Hopefully they can add Tucker in some capacity, whether it's free agent or deadline. He's got to be a must-have as a free agent. I would definitely hand Tucker a $500 million deal. Try to lock that man up. After having just lost out on Soto in the offseason, it'd be huge to add Tucker to kind of replace that impact left-handed bat behind Judge going forward for at least the rest of Judge's prime. Like Monstage JD said, Monster J, sorry, I keep mispronouncing that. Judge's prime isn't going to last forever, and it'd be great to have a Tucker type in there. We saw what Soto did last season when Soto was hitting in front of Judge, getting great pitches to hit. So definitely want to see if Tucker is going to be available, and if the Yankees will spend the type of money. I know they offered $750+ million to Juan Soto, so they were aggressive. They did show intent to sign him. They did put their money where their mouth is, so let's see if they'll do it with Tucker. Jimmy says Tucker and bringing King back would be great in the offseason. I agree. That would be a really good offseason. Lou says Tucker most likely in free agency, especially since the Cubs are still in it. Hopefully he doesn't sign an extension in Chicago. I have seen a couple articles and headlines where the Cubs have not engaged with Tucker in an extension, which is a good sign in my opinion. If I was the Cubs, I'd be trying to extend him and not letting him get to free agency because I think he's going to get a big payday, especially if he continues to hit the way he has this year. There's going to be a big payday for him this offseason. And I hope the Yankees give it to him. I mean, a lot of people thought the pipe dream of Vladdy was going to be a thing. Obviously, that's not going to happen now that Vladdy is re-signed in Toronto. But the next big fish out there is Tucker. Lou says, I'd overpay for Tucker. Can't make that same mistake twice, letting a top guy go somewhere else. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very rare opportunity where Soto got away. Tucker might be. We don't know yet. Tucker might be right there for the taking. It might be a cheaper option to get a very, very, very good left-handed hitter in Yankee Stadium for the majority of his prime there. So definitely interesting to see if he does hit the market, if the Yankees put the money where their mouth is again, and if they kind of try to make up for the Juan Soto, situation by getting a Tucker. Yank00 says, what do you do with Bellinger if you get Tucker? Bellinger, the good thing about Bellinger is if he does opt back into his deal, if Bellinger has a great year, he's going to opt out because he wants to go get paid more. I think he does have a player option. If he has a rough season or if, the money doesn't look great out there, if he wants a redo on putting up some great numbers before hitting the market again, I think he's going to opt in. The great thing with Bellinger, he plays 3 outfield positions and he plays all 3 positions well. You can also put him at DH and you can also play him at first base. So if the Paul Goldschmidt situation, if he does have a good season, but they decide not to bring him back and they want to add some versatility to the roster in terms of, moving, maybe putting Rice at first, maybe putting Bellinger there in a pinch. I do think those are 2 options for Bellinger and the Yankees at first base if you do add a Tucker, because I know Tucker is probably going to play and maybe left field, right field. I think Tucker may be able to play first base. I'm not 100% sure on that. Might have to hit the old Google machine to verify on that. But, there is some flexibility with Bellinger if he does opt back in, so that would be great. If he doesn't, then there's an easy place for you to slide Tucker right in there, and hopefully you pay him a handsome amount of money and look forward to seeing him hit for the rest of his career. Monster JD says, I really don't think they have a chance to extend him. Chicago, talking about Tucker. Multiple sources saying less than 0. I saw the same tweet. If you're Tucker, why would you take a sweetheart deal with the Cubs when you can go out there and take advantage of a huge opportunity to get a massive payday from somebody after capitalizing on having a great season? A sports career for an athlete does not last forever. You have only so many opportunities to accumulate as much money for yourself and generational wealth for the rest of your family. So definitely an opportunity where Tucker is going to take advantage of that, and I'd be shocked if he didn't. He says, I hope they want to load some prospects at the deadline. I don't think they'll get him at the deadline. I think the Cubs are going to be in it till the end. It's hard to have a group of guys who are playing well and a team that's playing well and then move one of your best players at the deadline. So I don't see that happening. The Tigers kind of did it last year, moving Flaherty and a couple others, but very rare to see a team that's in it that has an opportunity moving one of their best players. So definitely something to watch there. What's up, Jacob? Lou says, I think it's a one and done for Goldfish. I agree. Says, need to find a permanent spot for Rice moving forward, especially if Stanton can stay healthy. I agree 1,000%. I know Rice right now is not a great defensive option at first base, but if you can get an offseason under his belt, continue to work at it really hard, work on, knowing where to be, fielding ground balls, picking bad throws out of the dirt from infielders. You got to find a place for Rice, and I think the easiest place going forward is going to be first base. So hopefully he can get better defensively there because I think the bat's going to play. I know it's a long season. He's had a really good month, but we got to see him do it for a full season and continue to progress as a hitter, which I think he can do. So you got to see more. You got to find a place for him. But definitely with Stanton, going to be clogging up the DH role, it's going to be hard to get Rice, more at bats when you got both of them healthy and both of them needing to DH. So hopefully first base is a fit there. Jacob says biggest deadline need, Johnny. I think so too. Rice is going to move to catcher once G comes back this year. I know he is a backup catcher, but Austin Wells has got to play also. I mean, Wells is in the same boat. Solid left-hander, young guy, first full season, not platooning. The power is going to play in Yankee Stadium. He needs more at bats. He needs the consistency, and he needs how to learn how to play a full season as a big league hitter. So Rice and Wells are going to have to both do that. I think Rice would be more of a backup catcher. I do see Wells catching, 4 or 5 times a week. So it's going to be hard for Rice to kind of figure into that equation. Especially when I know they like JC Escara. I don't know how long he's going to be, the backup catcher once Stanton does come back, because I know you'd like to slide Ben Rice in there to get him a couple starts per week, get his bat in the lineup. It's going to be a tough merry-go-round situation when the Stanton comes back, but I don't think we have to worry about that for another couple months. Yeah, tough loss today. Looking back at it, you crush Kyle Gibson yesterday. Rodon looks great. You score 15 runs. You come back the next day and then you only score 4, which is the amount that Carrasco gave up. So I mean, if Carrasco would have given up just 2 or 3 runs and the bullpen did their job, I think the Yankees would have been in good shape. But Carrasco kind of put him behind the 8 ball, and it's hard to win ball games like that. Going to be hard to expect anything different. This is kind of who he is. The ERA is pushing 6. Warren's trying to figure out. Carrasco is not great. I know Clark is trying to figure it out as well. So you got 3 guys working through some things while Rodon and Fried are both pitching really well. So going to be tough to string a couple weeks of consistent good baseball together without a Carrasco and Warren shitting themselves on national television a couple times a week, which is very unfortunate. But once again, I appreciate all of you guys being here. I would like for you to like this channel, like this video, find the YouTube account, The Lasagna Show, subscribe to the channel, and join me along this very fun ride we're going to have for the rest of the season. It's going to be a roller coaster. I think the Yankees will be right in the mix for the division. I think the Yankees will be right in the mix for at least a wild card spot at minimum. I think anywhere from the low to mid 90s is a realistic amount of wins to expect from this team, and it's going to be tough, man. You saw the Orioles today battling us. The Red Sox aren't too far behind. The Red Sox are going to be annoying as hell, just like they were last year. So it's going to be one hell of an entertaining season going forward, and I hope you're here with me every step of the way for the rest of this thing, and we have some fun with it. I see Josh says, do you think the Yankees possibly make a trade for a starting pitcher deadline? Again, I don't see them moving any of the young impact players that they really like right now. The depth in the league in the minors is relatively thin after the Juan Soto deal, last off season. So, they're kind of in a position where you had a lot of guys, a lot of top prospects up with the big league club now, trying to figure things out at the big league level. And you have some up and comers in the minors establishing themselves now as top prospects and working their way up the food chain in terms of the baseball, the top baseball rankings for prospects. So it's going to be hard to see. I just don't see Cashman moving any of these guys that they really like in the minors that it's going to take to get a top end starting pitcher that's going to make a real impact. So my hopes aren't up based on how they acted last season with a potential 1 season of Juan Soto situation. And they got jazzed, but added a Mark Leiter and I think a De Los Santos at the deadline, which wasn't as aggressive as I wanted them to be. They needed more pitching. They needed a power arm in the bullpen. Still a relatively similar situation. Need a power arm in the bullpen. Hopefully Loaiza can be that, but he's going to be, somewhat working his way back here soon. And he might get hurt again. You really can't rely on the guy right now, as much as I hate to say that. Going to need a starting pitcher. Might need a third baseman. So it's tough, man. I just don't think Cashman is going to move the guys it's going to take to get top flight impact major league players. So hopefully I'm wrong there. Jimmy says last year deadline was borderline criminal. It was, man. I mean, you just never know. You don't know if you're going to get Soto to commit for the rest of his career to come back. So you have him on the team. You have this situation where the American League is relatively weak. You have a great opportunity to not only get back to the ALCS, but win the ALCS, get to the World Series for the first time in 15 years. Why not go out and try to be more aggressive to add a Kopech, a Jack Flaherty, a Tommy Edman? I know they were in on all 3 of those guys, and they ended up not getting it done because they didn't want to give up the players it was going to take to get them. Based on some things that I read, they were in on Edman. They were, asking about Flaherty. I know Kopech, hard throwing relief kind of guy. Matt Blake would have a field day with him. It's tough, man. Jordan says good players under control will cost more than guys in the contract tier, unless Kyle Tucker. That's absolutely true. And I just don't think the Yankees are willing to pay some of those high-end costs for those great impact players that are going to impact this team going forward. Jimmy says, I wanted Lucas Urseg. Would have been great for the bullpen. I agree. Another hard-throwing guy. Would have been, great to see Matt Blake work with him and figure out a way to get some outs there. Spencer Turnbull is a guy that I think is still a free agent right now. He had a pretty good year last season. I know he had some injuries down the stretch. He missed the rest of last year, but I wonder if the Yankees would check in on that. It only costs money instead of costing prospects. I don't know if there is a draft pick tied to him or what the financial implications would be in terms of the Cohen tax or whatever the hell you want to call it. But according to the Yankees, no loot. So unfortunate there. I don't expect them to spend much money, but hopefully Cashman feels a little something this trade deadline season compared to last year. Realizes he made a mistake, and he'll be a little bit more aggressive to help get this team over the top. You're not going to have many more of these super incredible prime years from Judge left. Approaching his mid 30s, I expect this to keep up maybe through age 37, age 38, 39, 40. Might be kind of tough for him. Big body, plays an outfield position. He's pushed. I think he's 6'7", almost 300 pounds. I don't care how good a shape you're in. It's a lot of stress on your muscles, your joints, his knees. So I don't see him aging well with a big body like that. So you got to take advantage of this window right here where Aaron Judge is still at his absolute peak. I know Garrett Cole will come back next season and be pretty solid. Usually year one after TJ, guys are a little, not themselves. They try to figure things out. We're seeing that with Sandy Alcantara right now. But, this window is getting smaller and smaller every year. So Cashman's really got to figure out a way to get to the World Series, give Aaron Judge another chance to try and prove himself in the World Series and see if he can deliver a championship as the Yankee captain, which is so huge for his legacy. I cannot emphasize that enough. He really needs to get it done. Yankee captain, man, the first one since Jeter. Jeter's got 5 chips. The late 90s was unbelievable for him, Hall of Famer. So Judge has all the regular season records. He has the 62 homers. He's got unbelievable amount of MVPs. He's going to win more. You just really hope for the sake of his legacy as a Yankee captain that he does get a chip eventually. And it's going to take some help from Brian Cashman in this very unique window to get that done. So fingers crossed that they can. Jordan says, another thing you brought up, Johnny, even if you get the deadline, what team are you going to call because of the Yankees see a guy, so the Dodgers, Mets? That's 1,000% true. Like I said before, there's going to be a lot of teams jockeying for the same amount of guys, especially with the extended wild card. More teams now are going to think that they're in it to make a playoff push than ever. We've seen that the last couple of years. There's going to be a lot of buyers and not a lot of guys available to be bought. So the price is going to be huge. If you're a team that's not in it and you're in a position of leverage with a good player and you got a bunch of teams calling you, you're going to take the best package for yourself to build towards the future. And if the Yankees aren't willing to move some of these top flight guys that they really like that other teams are asking for, I don't see any deals getting done. So it's unfortunate, but it might be the unfortunate reality for us at this point. Lou says, I'm thinking 3 more top flight years from Judge, so that window's definitely closing quick. I agree. I think he's 33, 34 right now. I think through age 30, I think age 37 season, he will still be good. 38, 39, 40, you never know with a big body like that. Tough. I know he stays in great shape. I know he's in great condition. I know he works hard to take care of his body and make sure things are going well there. So hopefully he can prolong this prime for as long as he can. But Father Time is undefeated, unfortunately. Lou says just turned 33 on Saturday. Oh, that's right. Okay, so 33. Yeah, I think he's got four more peak MVP type seasons. Once he gets towards 38, it's going to be really hard to maintain that. Like I said, Father Time is undefeated there. So all in all, this was a series where the Yankees could bury a division rival after a tough start, and they failed to do so, which is very unfortunate. We know the Orioles were a thorn in their foot last season, and it looks like they're going to be a thorn in their foot again. And they're only going to get, healthier. They're going to get Bradish back. They're going to get Grayson Rodriguez back, Zach Eflin. I think one other guy, I forget his name, but yeah, they're going to get better. They're going to go on a little bit of a run. We know there's too much talent on that team for them to continue to be in last place. So unfortunate that you couldn't bury them here early and make it even harder on them going forward. So it's going to be a crazy roller coaster season as they try to overcome some of the injuries earlier this season with Luis Hill. For us, Luis Hill, Garrett Cole, obviously, a lot of young guys trying to figure things out. Judge doing what he does. So going to be very entertaining. It's going to be an absolute roller coaster ride. And once again, I'm so happy to have you guys here. Please like this video, like the other videos that I posted, subscribe to the channel, and we will be doing this Monday through Thursday post game. Don't miss a series wrap edition of the Lasagna Show tomorrow. Me and my friend Jordan here in the chat with the SpongeBob icon. Find him on Twitter. I think his handle is at Wilkie, W-I-L-K, with a bunch of Y's. Very good baseball insight. He'll be on here relatively often, and we're going to have some pretty good conversations. Some of the things you don't see on Twitter that often, different perspectives. He notices some things that your average bear watching baseball doesn't notice. So it's going to be great to get his insight in here and have some really good conversations and throw some ideas around based on what we watch. So once again, tough series for the Yankees. Hopefully they can pick it up once they get back home. We will have the show tomorrow, the series recap of the Orioles, and then we will be back on Monday for another Lasagna post game with yours truly. Once again, please subscribe to the channel, like this video. Thank you guys all for coming. It's been a really fun week. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a little bit, and we're off and running now. There's some of you who have been writing me in support of what we're doing here. I really appreciate it. The feedback has been fantastic. It really makes me want to continue doing this and make it more interactive so we can all have some fun this season, and kind of do things differently. But Lou says, good stuff as always, Johnny. Keep up the good work. I thank you so much, Lou. I thank you for being in here consistently. You've been one of the early contributors here in the comments that's been consistent. So I appreciate you watching. And so we'll pick this up tomorrow. Me and Jordan will be doing a series recap. I will see you guys again solo on the Lasagna post game on Monday. And let's go Yankees. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.